And actually, the superintendent visited with my sisters and that at Big Jim's Cafe right before the accident. He was there, and he said they were having hamburgers and French fries and visiting and laughing. This is the article I can remember the most. You know, it was the front page Jamestown Sun.
Yeah.
Mary Lou was the creative, kind of artsy, craftsy. She had very, very nice handwriting. Actually, we have a letter in here that she had started writing, replying back to the cousin that she had the letter with. So, and when I was even looking at this recently, I went, God, for a 14-year-old, she's got very, very nice letter. But she was the one, Mary Lou was the one that kind of created like games and stuff for us. We played a lot as kids, you know. We lived way out of town, so we had to invent our own fun. And so she was the one that would help with building the forts or coming up with ideas for games and different things like that. Anita was older than I was. I can remember she read a lot. And I remember she was very, very smart. And I'm probably the one of the siblings that probably looks the most like her in our family. See, and then Ron and Bob were roommates, I believe, in college at Valley City at the time. So, oh, okay, so it says Robert Hendricks is 65 Mustang and Earl Williams is white Ford sedan. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. But I'm guessing this almost has to be part from over, I don't know. And everything everybody had said, because we had actually talked to, let's see, afterwards, it was Buckholtz was the first person that was on the scene of the accident. I can remember the day she came home. I was out milking the cow. We had a couple milk cows, and it was my job. Yeah, this probably sounds so weird to you. I seem so old. I'm sorry. But I was out milking the cow when she got to come home from Fargo, and I remember one of my sisters coming out and saying, Irene's home from the hospital. So I quit milking right then. You know, I put the bucket away. I ran into the house, and she was sitting in on my mom's and dad's bed. And I can remember my 18-month-old sister, just looking at her. She was just scared. And she says, hi, Leslie, it's me. Well, when Leslie heard her, she knew who it was, and then she ran to her. But she was just scared of her because she had her teeth wired, you know, and she had stitches and stuff. But I can remember, I mean, it was just like she looked so different, but yet we knew it was her. And it was, I don't know, it was quite a happy day. I believe it was the day after the funeral that Mom and Dad took her to Fargo then. And it was not until then that she had the plastic surgery and that, and then healed from that. And she had her teeth wired shut, I remember, and I remember she had to carry around this wire cutter in her purse in case she would choke on something or something. She could cut the wires. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but everything she ate, she sucked through a straw.
Oh no.
So she learned how to eat mashed potatoes. Yeah, it was amazing. I remember a story, and I don't know if Irene shared this with you, but this I always thought was funny. This is actually the Stars and Stripes paper. And one of my first cousins, who had used to spend some summers with us, was, I believe he was in Germany at that time. But anyway, in the Stars and Stripes paper, he came down for breakfast one morning, and one of the guys said, hey, do you know these Green Shell girls that were in this accident? And they were his first cousins, and of course, that's the first he had heard about it.
Oh my gosh.
So then he read the article, finding out that he had cousins killed. She probably talked about it. And then that's also where one of my other cousins was in, I think he said Tokyo, and my mom actually has the letter from him. But he said, I read about the terrible tragedy in today's Pacific Stars and Stripes. It's a newspaper printed in Tokyo. So he had read it too, and so that's how he found out about the accident too. And then had written a letter of sympathy, and that was September 3rd, so that must have been, yeah, the day it came out. But I said it's just amazing the difference in technology and how you communicate information and stuff like that. It was just quite a thing on the community.
Yeah.
It really was. And you know, when you take, and I still think it might be North Dakota's worst as far as teenage fatalities. and stuff like that. Well, I actually, and this is my philosophy on life, I said people who don't have God and who don't have a close family, I don't know how they get through things or what they do, because that's everything to me. I can remember after my brother's death, which was about 12 years after, because my mom and dad had a stillborn baby. And then about 12 years later, it was this accident. Then about 12 years later, my brother was killed in a snowmobile accident.
Oh,
And I remember after my brother's funeral, my dad's mom was a very, very religious woman. Said the rosary every day. We always said, Grandma's praying for us, Grandma's praying for us. But I mean, very religious woman. I remember sitting with her afterwards at the luncheon after my brother's funeral, and she said, I just don't know how Jay and Agnes do it. They have to be the strongest people I know. And I just went, sure, you lost a husband and had four little kids. You've lost a son. She lost a son in World War II. She lost, and I go, and you're saying you don't know how strong, how they can be so strong? Well, I thought, and I didn't say it to her, but I thought, yeah, where does it come from? So. Yeah, so I don't know, but there isn't almost a time, because I just live out by Eldridge now, and I take that bypass over the Woodbury exit 2 times a day and stuff, but there isn't a time that goes by that I still don't think, I wonder what that must have looked like, or wonder what that must have been like, or I don't know. It just kind of sticks with you. Always look for your designated driver. I always told my kids that if you're someplace at a party drinking, feel free to call me. I had very, very strict rules with curfew, and if you were going to be late for curfew, even by 5 minutes, you better be calling and let me know where and when and why. Yeah, and I was reasonable, but I had very, very strict rules, and I know a lot of it probably came from my upbringing. Mm-hmm. We had the 16, you couldn't date till you were 16 rule. So a lot of the rules that my parents had followed with my kids, and you know what? They're very good kids. So, yep, I have 4 kids, and then we have 4 grandchildren too. No, oh boy. Irene and I have talked, and I still want to do that. Her and I have both kind of thought that we would like to put together a PowerPoint, a tutorial, a video, something where we scan the things and actually do it as a presentation to kids in high schools and stuff about, the effects of drinking and driving and how you should be cautious. I always thought that we should hit them hard, before prom and graduation season and stuff like that. And I told her, earlier this year, I said, it's the 40th anniversary, we really should do it. But then tell it from our perspective. And I have a number of siblings, a brother-in-law that are all teachers, so it wouldn't be hard getting into schools. So.
I remember my next oldest brother, and I don't know what time it was. We were sitting in the window watching cars go by and hoping that one of them would turn in and it would be Earl. Somehow Mark knew that something had happened. Just know there was a lot of emotion, and he's a good guy. Always took care of us. Ride motorcycle, working on the farm, hunting. He wrestled. I went to the funeral parlor for visitation and couldn't go to anything else. Well, there was another article with all their pictures across the top of the page. Mm-hmm. Used to sit in that desk over there in the corner, in the drawer. That's my grandmother's desk. And I would go in and read that article about every other time I was there. Just found it one day. Was digging through the drawers for something. Mm-hmm.